What's up everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Tughlaq and how you can play a very simple fast castle build order with them. It will be quite similar to something that you might have played before with fast castle into knights or archers or both. And we'll try to make use of the fact that we can take relics really fast, kind of like HRE can do, and just in general have a really optimized economy with the worker elephants, basically making your villagers have 0 walking time. So simple civ actually to play. What you want to be doing is you want to try to play a sort of opener here where you spawn in 2 elephants. We can afford that early, and so we will have a total of 3 elephants early on. These worker elephants can pick up sheep. Now I'm assuming this will get fixed later on, so I will make a corrected build order once that does get fixed, if it gets fixed. But for now, at release, we have this meta where you spawn in 2 extra worker elephants and then you scout for sheep. So what you want to do is you want to have your scout go aggressive around your opponent's base. You want to have 2 worker elephants go to the sides of the map. And then you want one to go around your base and then straight to goal and be there at about 1 minute, 10 seconds maybe. Because then that'll sync up with your gold collection. So you'll see me kind of microing these elephants out on the map. Scout goes aggressive. This elephant goes out here. And then I have this elephant. This will be my gold elephant. That will go around and just straight back to gold. So you don't have any mining camps, lumber camps, or mills. What you do have are worker elephants with a unique upgrade called rolling baskets, and this is something you want to get in Castle Age. So go around, grab the sheep, try to get as many as you can. This is extremely good for fast castle because you get extra sheep and you can pretty much always go Castle Age since you guarantee a high amount of sheep this way. So we're finding sheep, and then we're able to just go to castle after. What you want to do is you want to macro 8 villagers on food, and then you macro 4 villagers on gold, and then you rally onto food, and then you go Castle Age. Very, very simple. So now we rally food. I'm just going to go 2x here. And as usual, of course, you can find the build order in the description with all of the details of how to play this out with the macro and the timings. Now we got 2 extra sheep here. Very nice. That means we don't really need to get back with sheep anytime soon. Now we're just rallying onto food. We've also built a house. Just do that immediately at the start of the game. And now go up to 4 on gold. And then you're going to be able to age up. And you will age with 2 villagers. 2 villagers because we don't need to get 4 in a super quick feudal age, since we're not going to be making any units in feudal. So just rally onto gold. And then from there on out, rally to food. Now here at about 220, you want to build Dome of Faith. There you go. Dome of Faith can produce imams and healer elephants at a discount. We want to be using the imams for instant relic collection in the Castle Age. This worker elephant just came back with sheep and will now continue out and try to find more sheep. For now, I'll just use it on the straggler tree here. Excuse me. So, worker elephant makes it so that you have effectively no idle time here. So they just drop off immediately, plus you get an additional 5% resource drop off. Very good. Now we're gathering 1 full straggler tree, and we're just going to set like 5 villagers there. They're going to gather 1 full straggler tree and then 50 stone later. So 50 stone for arrow slits. We'll have 100 wood. So it's 150 wood for straggler tree. We'll have 100 wood for a tower to house our gold villagers and our elephant. Yes, you can put elephants inside of the towers. And then we want to upgrade the tower and of course also get a house. That's basically the H up here. So this build order is incredibly simple. And simple is usually really good. Now, there is kind of one thing you want to think about. So it's a fast castle, which means you're kind of vulnerable early on, which means you need to be pretty good defending. Now, in some situations, and we don't really know yet how that's going to be because the game is so new now, we don't really know how people are going to respond against Tughlaq, but I believe that we will see maybe some early aggression. The way you respond to feudal aggression, however, is going to be with the elephants and maybe adding in some units, but I think it's actually enough to just go tower and then healer elephants because most melee units can't stand under it. The problem with that is you don't really have a really good way of dealing with something like a ram push with tricomp, like Abbasid can do. So there's just some things there you want to watch out for. But basically, these healer elephants do 15 damage. They get more damage the more adjacent melee units they have. So it's a decent unit. And yeah, the healing is really strong. It spawns with 2 imams on top. So now I'm gathering the stone. I am just rallying onto food right now. Nothing crazy, just rallying onto food. Didn't move any villagers besides the one for the straggler tree and for the 50 stone. Once I gathered 50 stone, I run all the way back home to the sheep here. Now, if you're against somebody who's playing very macro-oriented, maybe they're fast casting themselves, maybe they're just playing 2DC or something, what you can do is you can just go out on the map and get the deers, get the berries. But you effectively don't need to because you have so many sheep. It's just a good thing to do if you are in a position where you're not under pressure, because then you can just take a high gather rate resource and come back to the sheep later when your opponent finally decides to make units. So don't be afraid to go out on the deer. Get the wheelbarrow to do so. Gather a little bit extra wood there. Go out on the deer. Come back home after. It's very quick that way. The wheelbarrow takes 5 seconds to research, like all the other upgrades, although it's a little bit more expensive. So now we're going Castle Age. Now let's talk about the Castle Age landmarks. So House of Learning and Compound of the Defender are your landmarks. Now the first one gives you a lot of bonuses to your elephants, especially like, speed bonuses and extra damage. But this is not an elephant build. This is a Knight Archer build. So the upgrades here are not really that interesting for us. They're kind of mid, in my opinion. What we do want to get is Compound of the Defender because it gives us the scalability. Now, this civilization is incredible in the late game because you can keep getting more and more bonuses through your governors. Now, the governor system, you don't really need to know too much about it other than you built a fortress or a fort, kind of like KT would. And then you have the ability to get some bonus. It can be some units, it can be eco bonuses, it can be some extra income. So basically what we want to do is we want to get 2 different governors. We want to get Bakar. Bakar governor is a farm transition kind of governor. So it gives you a lot of food. And that's basically what you're gathering for. That's why we go Compound of the Defender, because it reduces the stone cost of those forts. And the Bakar would come in around 15-18 minutes. That's why you typically want to start your farm transition. So I would recommend playing the Civ. Very macro-oriented. It doesn't mean you spam forts. It's a pretty bad idea to make static defenses, make units. So make Knight Archer, and then in the mid-game, you start making the forts. If you make them early, you die. That's just how it is. Because you can't afford to make keeps, you lose all the map control, then you're forced into farms. So don't do that. Just make units, and then around that 18-minute mark, consider gathering stone, and then making some forts. For governors. Alright. Enough about that. We are now aging up with Compound Defender, 8 villagers on the landmark. We're building a house. We have macro onto wood now. We have about 9 villagers on wood here. You can put 2 worker elephants here just to decrease the idle time from walking back and forth. And then we are gonna macro a little bit heavier on food and gold afterwards. Building a stable now. The stable will give us the knights that we need. We've also made 1 imam. The imam is already now on the way to the relics. Now, if you're not under pressure, you can make even more of these in the feudal age and just have them ready on the relics, like AoE or Delhi would. So it's an incredibly good fast castle civ this way. Now I'll put 10 on gold, I have 14 on food, I'm just going to rally food for now. And I'm going to start making lancers. Lancers, baseline, just a good unit. You want knights in the castle age, combine them with archers, you have a strong composition. Now being attacked a little bit here. I just use my tower, I garrison my work elephants, I bring these villagers a little bit back. And then, if I went for healer elephants, they would be there now, and they would just heal up my damaged villagers, basically. So, 2 work elephants, just making knights now. Making more imams. Taking relics, getting back on gold. And then I just eject these units, and we're ready to go again. I'm going to make a second stable. Because I want to go 2 stables into 3 archer ranges, and then a blacksmith. So 2 stables to start knights. Knights are really good against most units. Now, if you're up against somebody who massed feudal age units, maybe you go archers instead and upgrade your archers. They're really good at dealing with feudal age units, as long as you keep them in your base. Your third option there is also to go man-at-arms if your opponent's feudal age committing, right? Man-at-arms are decent against feudal age units. But in an ideal world, let's say your opponent didn't have 20 units at your doorstep, and you'd have to adapt that way with archers or men-at-arms. In an ideal world, you'll then start going lancers. So lancer spam into triple archer range, and then you're just full making archers and lancers. We're now bringing back the relics. And pretty soon, I'll also get woven baskets. I've gotten survival techniques now, because I pushed 1 worker elephant out here on the deer, and that's giving me a very high gather rate. Now let's switch to caster mode. So caster mode, I'll continue to display the villager count here. There's going to be a little bit of fighting here, but the knights are amazing at dealing with anything that comes their way in low numbers. I'm just going to play around the tower here. These worker elephants have a lot of HP, so don't sweat too much if you're about to lose them to like aggression or something. And they don't cost that much either. They're 75 resources, so it's a good unit to just have a lot of, and you can use them for your army pushes. So if you're going to go for like a castle all-in, or a feudal age all-in, for that matter, you can take your healers and your work elephants together, and your opponent will have so many units to attack that the units that are actually they're supposed to attack, like the knights and archers, they might be really hard to target because there's so many meat shields, so healers and elephants. So they're so cheap, you can just use them that way. Yeah. Now on the berries, and we're just 2xing this way. Just fighting out here, just taking relics. This is standard metagame stuff. We want to go Knight Archer, and then we want to go into potentially Spring Ballista Elephants. They're pretty good to combine there because they deal with spears very well. Our Blacksmith, you only need one Blacksmith. All other build orders would go 2 Blacksmiths now since it's so late. But you get technologies in 5 seconds, so don't sweat it too much. The upgrades aren't that expensive either. It's a little bit more, like 50 more resources, 55 more resources. Use your knights, don't lose them, go back and heal with them. Get the herbal medicine upgrade if you do start to get a lot of gold, and then start spamming imams and heals with that. You can also go into the healer elephants here. Although they're slower, so they're not that good to bring with your Knight Archer army, since that is a more fast-paced comp. So just raid, don't fight, just raid. Start taking sacred sites, take all the relics if you can, and then at some point at around 15 minutes start gathering stone. So we got the sacred site. This is going to give us gold. We've added in 2 archer ranges. We have our blacksmith, of course, giving us ranged armor, allowing us to do a more aggressive style under their static emplacements. So finding some more damage like this. Now just making archers, upgraded the archers, more knights. You just want to get a lot of units. That's all it is. And then you start running out of gold. You'll go to the second gold. Triple archer range now. So now we're just making as many archers as we can. You can see the way I'm macroing. Pretty even food and wood and gold. A little bit less on gold because I have relics. I'll start floating a little bit more gold because 5 relics and 3 sacred sites gives you insane amounts of gold. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen in your games. Just more knights, bring some healers in their own control group. Now, I would not go all in if you have such a good position. I would just play it out and try to get Imperial. Or just play out Castle Age and start adding in forts to keep scaling your advantages. Although if you do have a kill opportunity, then go for it. So now we're in gold here. We have gotten the first bow and baskets upgrade. We're fighting a little bit here. You just want to use your archers. This is basically the micro. You want to tank with your imams. You want to use your archers to kill the spears. And once the spears are gone, you send in your knights. So that's how you use this. You don't care about losing archers. You care about not losing knights and preserving them. That's why we go healers. That's why we go archers in the first place. To counter crossbows and spears. Once you've done that, send in the knights and you win the game. With a killing blow, with a blow like this, you can go 3, 4, 5 rams and then just start taking down their base if they have not already surrendered. Alright. So now, this is our base. 5 relics. We're on the stone out here. Actually on 2 stones. Maybe a bit overkill. But on 2 different stones here, I'm going to build my first forts. Now forts, because of the 20% discount from Compound, they're only going to cost 340. So the Tughlaq forts, go for them. They give you incredible eco bonuses and a little bit of defense too. So I'm going to build this Tughlaq fort, and we'll just quickly talk about what governors to go for. You can see I'm making some farms around it too. I generally recommend going farms when you're on berries. Alright. So now, I'm just going to quickly explain the fort mechanic. So the forts gives you 1 governor per fort. You can get all governors, and the governors have 4 tiers. So they have a bonus, and that bonus gets upgraded as you upgrade your fort with the governor inside. Simple. Now the governors that you want to go for is going to primarily be Bakar This is going to give you a nice amount of food for the farms that you build around the fort. Although you cannot build many farms, you can only build in the first layer around them, around the fort, because the range of the, how should you say, of the buff, the food buff that you get from houses and farms is very small. There are other ones that are really good as well for this stage in the game. If you're ahead, you can get further ahead by going Multan. Multan gives you 15, 30, 50, and 75% if you go upgrade number 4, level 4 Tughlaq about Fort, 75% production speed on your town centers, which is incredible. The other one that is really good is Sevon. Sevon is going to be quite good for gold income, so you take your sacred sites and relics. And lastly, you can also go for Uch. So Uch is going to be, or Uch, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Is basically going to be where you get your technologies 15, 20, 25%. Get that discount on all of your technologies. So those are the really good ones. There's also Jalor and Ashmir, and yeah, they're alright. Maybe Ashmir is good for like a castle in when you build a fortress in the front of your opponent's base, because the units, they're quite sucky when they get far away from the fort. So you have like 5 tiles or something where they're really good, and outside of that they get really bad. The units that are spawned here. The good thing is, if you're maxed out 200 out of 200 and you build a fort in front of your base that way, then the 200 out of 200 can be buffed up to like, well, 13 units on just one fort. So you have 213 units out of 200, which is incredibly good for, well, fighting, because now you're effectively able to make more units than your opponent. You just want to place this fort correctly. So that's basically the governors. Now, the way you upgrade the forts is with Shahi walls, and there's 2 more upgrades after that. And the last one is unlocked with Compounded Defender. And so the governors just get better and better and better when you upgrade with Shahi walls. The other one is Curse of Iluja, and you want to use that when you have the fort sort of placed in the middle and when it's likely to be attacked. You can also make worker elephants instantly out of the Tughlaq fort. Maybe from, you know, if you want to do that fortress push, you can make elephants outside of it and then just use them to tank. And yeah, that's pretty much the forts. They're quite good, but don't see them as a must-have in the feudal age. This is a transitional fort that you use to get a better transition to the imperial. In my opinion, of course. There will maybe spawn builds that use them much earlier, but this is my assessment of how to use them. Alright. When you make farm transitions and stuff, make them around the force, of course, make them around your TC, and then make them around your elephants. So just make a fat field, and then put your elephants out there. So yeah, not really much else for this civ than just now spamming these forts, putting them in the middle. At this point, I could already have killed my opponent, obviously, but just for the sake of this video, you can see, okay, now we put the work of the elephants out here, we get the governors that we want. So this one was the Amir warriors. And so they can defend this area, very nice. Farms coming around here. We're now going Imperial, and I like to go Hisar Academy because it gives me 100 resources per governor, up to 600 resources per minute, and that's a pretty decent amount of resources to get out of a landmark. So Hisar Academy is definitely my favorite for now. The other one just gives you an immediately, you know, upgraded fort, basically. The bonuses inside. So yeah, that's pretty much Tughlaq and how to play them in a simple, fast castle way. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out the memberships. If you have any comments, questions, anything, let me know in the comment section below. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Good luck.
Yoki kana.